engine RPM. The cause tappet clearance. Adjust the tappet clearance. The standard limit for both the valves is as shown. Remember, the tappet clearance should always be set in correct condition of the engine. The other reasons for tappet noise are loose tappet screw and nut. Confirm condition of the threads. If damaged, replace the nut and screw. Worn out rocker arms and rocker shafts. Camshaft lobes. Replace the defective parts. Check the cam lobe height for the intake and exhaust. The cam lobe height standard and service limits are as shown. More clearance between the rocker arm and the rocker shaft also lead to tappet noise. The standard limit and the service limit for the rocker arm shaft diameter are as shown. If found less than specified, replace the defective parts. Check inner diameter of rocker arm. The standard limit and the service limit for the rocker arm inner diameter are as shown. If found less than specified, replace the defective parts. Missing of 3 diagonally placed washers between both rocker arm and head cover can cause rocker arm axial float, resulting in head noise. Replace with a new set of washers. Cam chain noise. Now listen carefully. This is called cam chain or timing chain noise. It comes from the clutch side of the engine. The reasons for the cam chain noise may be cam chain tensioner is fitted with the push rod in a fully outward position. This will lead to a cam chain rubbing noise. The chain tensioner should always be fitted with push rod in pre-assembled condition, and then it should be released. Loose cam chain also makes a hitting noise. This may be due to the plunger of the cam chain tensioner being stuck. The push rod should push the chain guide forward constantly. Deeply scored cam chain guide. Replace the chain guides as a set. Worn out cam sprocket teeth can also cause the noise. Inspect the cam sprocket and measure its diameter. The standard limit and the service limit for the cam sprocket diameter are as shown. If found less than specified, replace it. Worn out cam chain rollers elongate the chain and can cause noise. Measure the cam chain length for 20 links. The standard limit and the service limit for the cam chain are as shown. If found less than specified, replace the cam chain and both guides as a set. Camshaft bearing noise. Now, listen carefully. This is called camshaft bearing noise. To rectify this problem, open the cylinder Inspect the camshaft bearing by rotating it and feeling its roughness when rotating. Also, inspect the axial float of the bearings. Better bearing tracks and excessive axial float cause the bearing noise and bearing breakage. Replace the defective bearings. Inspect the camshaft bearing seat in the head and head cover. If found damaged, replace the head and head cover together. Remember, in the Pulsar, the head and head cover come as a pair and cannot be serviced separately. The pair has a unique identification mark that is casted or stamped on the body as shown. One-way clutch noise. Now listen carefully. This is called one-way clutch noise. This is heard when the starter button is pressed. To rectify the problem, open the magneto cover and magneto assembly and remove the one-way clutch. Inspect the one-way clutch assembly.
मौसम नदी में टाके इसलिए हाली
Dried and rusted rollers and broken springs may cause the noise. Clean all the parts. Replace the defective rollers and springs. Insert the new rollers and springs carefully in the body starter clutch. Apply the monocoat grease on the gear starter clutch boss using the scraper plate. The scraper plate ensures adequate and uniform grease application. Rotating the gear starter clutch anti-clockwise, fit it inside the body starter clutch. The other causes for the one-way clutch noise are loose fitment of the Allen bolt or broken Allen bolts. Dry needle roller bearings. specified torque. Assembly balancer idler gear noise. Now listen carefully. This is called assembly balancer idler gear noise. The noise is permanently heard on the engine on deceleration. This noise is also called engine backlash noise, and it is caused because of the excessive clearance caused between the two gear teeth. To eliminate or reduce this backlash noise, an assembly balancer idler gear is used in the Pulsar engines that need to be loaded against the spring load correctly. However, if the assembly balancer idler gear is not loaded correctly, backlash noise may occur. To rectify this problem, open the clutch cover and remove the assembly balancer idler gear using the special tool. Inspect the assembly balancer idler gear. Now, using the special tool, load the nylon type scissor gear with two teeth against the spring load. This should be done from both sides.
स्पीकर बराबर नहीं
If the respective balancer nylon scissor gear is not sustaining the load and is slipping off,
किसको से
then
घुमा के क्यों लगा दे
dismantle the assembly balancer
Timing है
idler
उसकी।
gear and inspect the
टाइम की ऐसी आवाज आती
torsion
है।
spring.
इसकी टाइमिंग कैसे है
इसकी टाइमिंग कैसे रहती है उसका? इसकी टाइमिंग में का एरो रहता ना वहाँ भी
एरो रहता है
क्रेन टॉप पे रहने हो ना
तीनों के साथ में आया
हाँ क्रेन टॉप के लिए तो पिस्टन टॉप पे ही आएगा यानी क्रेन की टाइमिंग और बैलेंसर की टाइमिंग साथ में रहती है
ये फाइनेंस हो गया
हाँ ये कोई डालता होता है ना स्प्रिंग अपन पूरा चेंज कर
Release the torsion spring if found damaged.
देगा भी बताएंगे फिटिंग बताएंगे
Remember, the nylon scissor gear should not rotate in both directions freely. The other causes for the noise are nylon gear teeth damaged or broken. Replace the gear. Load both the scissor gears with two teeth against the spring load and fit it back on the engine. Apply Loctite on the bolts
नहीं बताया
and tighten the scissor gear cover to the specified torque
जहाँ
as
फिट होता है
shown.
ना वहाँ उसकी टाइमिंग रहती है एरो
Engine vibration
उसका
noise.
मैच करके लगाने के लिए
Now listen
अगर वो रॉन्ग
carefully.
रहा तो क्रेन पे एरो टच होता नॉर्मल कट 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 करे नॉर्मल
This is engine vibration noise with some amount of vibrations better experience on the vehicle. This is caused because of the poor correct timing setting of the body balancer gear.
वो ब्लू निशान है
The noise and vibrations together are broadly felt by the customer on the handlebar, fuel tank, footrest, and gear
तो
pedal.
वाइब्रेशन होता
To rectify the problem, open the bridge cover.
है मैं वही बता रहा हूँ टाइमिंग
Remove the assembly balancer idler gear and the body balancer gear. Place the timing marks for primary gear and the body balancer gear for its correct matching. If they are not matching, align them correctly with the crankcase mark correctly. This can be done by following the sequence as suggested. First, ensure that the piston is at the TBC position. Inspect the primary gear mark for its alignment with the respective crankcase mark.
टाइमिंग चेंज की नहीं
Now, lower the assembly balancer idler gear using the special tool holder and then insert it inside the crankcase. Rotating the special tool holder handle, now align the body balancer mark
वो
with the respective crankcase mark. Keeping these marks aligned, now fit the
नहीं बैठा
clutch
इससे
assembly.
गाड़ी
गाड़ी वाइब्रेट करती है
कभी कभी उठा लेंगे इसको चाबी से
वो
मैं
नहीं
रहूँगा गाड़ी को ऑपरेट करेंगे
हाँ भाई
तो कट कराऊंगा
उसका सेटिंग कराना देखो तो गाड़ी वाइब्रेट करती है
Remove the special tool kit.
उसका वही काम है
Fit the assembly balancer idler gear cover. Apply Loctite and tighten the fasteners to the respective torque.
उसको में बैठ रहा है
Fit all the parts. The other causes for engine vibration noise are cracked rubberized engine foundation. Replace it. Engine foundation bolts loose. Tighten them to the specified torque and assure crankshaft